Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit and have your spine and back of your neck be nice and tall and long, opening up your chest, and opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is Ahimsa. The first limb of the 8 limbs of yoga is the Yamas. The Yamas are guidelines on how to interact with the world. And the first of the 5 Yamas is Ahimsa. Ahimsa is Sanskrit for nonviolence. Ahimsa invites us to be nonviolent, non-harmful, compassionate, and kind to ourselves and to others. We can practice Ahimsa on the mat by being kind to our mind, by not giving in to negative thoughts about our practice today. Remember, it's practice, not perfect. We can practice Ahimsa by being kind to our body, compassionately listening to our body, finding that sweet spot between effort and relaxation. Because yoga should not harm our body, it should help us to move with grace. And we should practice Ahimsa on the mat by being kind to our spirit, always leading with our heart and not our ego. Listen to your intuition about what is good for you today. The yoga helps us to be kind to ourselves on the mat so we can be kind to ourselves and others off the mat. The Dali Lama has a beautiful quote. It says, and this is his religion basically. It says, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. So for our pranayama, our breathing technique, we'll start just as we start with the yamas, the first limb of yoga. We'll start with the very first breath technique, which is Dirga. It's the complete breath, or some people call it the 3-part breath. And Dirga breath applies kindness to our mind because it helps us to still our mind. It applies kindness to our body because it gives us that life energy. And it applies kindness to our spirit because it calms us. So Dirga is starts with your stomach, then it goes up to your rib cage and up to your chest. Our normal breathing pattern typically just kind of resides in the chest, but this one is the complete breath, as it's called, and it goes all the way from your stomach, through your ribs, through your chest, just like a wave of breath coming up in from the ocean and kind of building up to your chest. And then on the exhale, you would be releasing. So it just flows away from your chest, flows away from your rib cage, and flows away from your stomach. So let's just practice that. We're going to take deep inhales and exhales through our nose with our mouth closed and start with our stomach. And if you'd like, you can put your hand on your stomach and just feel that rise under your hand, like that wave of breath building. And feel it then move up to your ribs and then up to your chest. And then exhaling through your nose, you just feel that flow away from your chest, flow away from your ribs, and flow away from your stomach as your hand goes back down. So let's just do a few of these at your own pace, and then we'll move on to our meditation. So inhale. And exhale, letting it flow away. Inhale, building like a wave of breath. And exhale. And one last one. Inhale. And exhale. We'll move on to our meditation, and I'll move to the mat. If you'd like, you can use a mudra this morning called Lotus Mudra. And what it does is opens the heart center and creates a more loving attitude toward others. And to do the Lotus Mudra is like creating the lotus blossom. So you bring your pinkies and your thumbs together with the palms of your hands touching. And you kind of open up your other fingers like it's the petals of the lotus blossom. And maybe bring that to your heart center. And if you'd like to continue the Dirga, the complete breath, during our meditation, you're welcome to do that. You may open your eyes and get ready to start our asana practice. Start in the seated position, do just a few head nods and turns and circles just to loosen up, up around here, and then we're going to go move that loosening up down to our shoulders. So let's just start with a few gentle head nods. We'll slowly bring our eyes down to the mat. And just gently stretching out the back of our neck. And then lifting our eyes up toward the sky above the tree line. And then back down on the exhale. And on the inhale, lifting up. And just really relaxing everything as we go. Exhale down. Inhale up. And then come back to center and we'll turn our head to the left, just gently looking over our left shoulder. Again, finding that sweet spot. And it may move each time you do it. And then exhale, coming back to center. And inhale, moving our head to the right. And then exhale, coming back to center. Inhale to the left. And exhale, back to center. Inhale to the right. And come back to center. And just slowly, we're going to draw circles with our nose. We go in one direction, lifting our eyes up, again, just up to the tree line, bringing our eyes down toward the mat, drawing that circle with our nose. Inhaling upward, exhaling downward. I can really feel this one just kind of having a few nice pops in my neck, in a good way, pops. And then reversing that direction if you haven't already started that. And then coming back to a neutral position. We'll do a few shoulder shrugs, again, lifting gently up toward our ears, and then bringing our shoulders toward the back, and then down, and then forward, inhaling up, back, exhaling down, forward, inhaling up, back, exhaling down, forward. More time, inhaling up, back, exhaling down, forward. We'll just do a couple in reverse. Trying to keep it really just soft and gentle. And then back to a neutral spine. If you would like to bring your feet side by side, I'm bringing my right leg in front of my left foot. We're going to do a few seated forward folds. Again, this is for you to use your own judgment of what works for you this morning. And just walk your hands out till you find your sweet spot. And then you can just pause and take a few deep breaths here. And then we'll crab our hands over to the right till our torso is just above our thigh. And then we'll walk our hands back toward our right knee. And then bring the right knee up toward the sky, wrapping our left arm around our knee and sending our right hand behind our hips, twisting our torso to the right. It's a beautiful November morning. I see a lot of green grass, leafless trees, so it's stick season again. And the tamarack is this bright golden color just before it sheds all its needles. And then we'll bring ourselves back to center, switch legs. Bring my left leg outside my right leg. And then we'll just gently walk our hands forward, seated forward fold, coming to that sweet spot. Take a few deep breaths here. And then walk our hands in crab fashion over to the left. Try to get our torso over our thigh. This side's very different for me than the other side. And then walking our hands back toward our left knee, bringing our left knee up to the sky, wrapping our arm around our knee, sending our left fingertips behind our hips, and twisting our torso to the left. And then we'll release that bind. And we're going to roll down on our back, but we're going to do that with our legs straight out. So bring your legs straight out and point your toes. And then lift your arms up, and then we'll just slowly roll back with control so that we land slowly on the mat, one vertebra at a time. And once you land on the mat, and send your arms all the way back in back of you, and then give yourself a nice big stretch, stretching the arms up and stretching legs down. Nice big stretch. And then we'll bring our hands, palms down alongside of us on our mat. And we'll take our right foot and slide it up on the inner part of our left leg till the sole of our right foot reaches the left knee and our legs form a figure four. And then we'll bring that right ankle, place it on top of our left leg, right above the knee, and then bring our legs up into a reclined pigeon pose. So our right knee is pointing toward the right side of our mat. Both feet are flexed up toward the sky. And if you'd like, you can push on your right foot against your left leg while you're pulling your left leg toward you to create a little bit of tension. Or you can just guide your left leg toward your chest with your hands interlaced behind your thigh, or not. Your choice. And breathe deep breaths. And we'll bring the left foot down to the mat, keeping the right foot where we are. And then slide the left foot all the way down to the bottom of the mat, keeping the right foot just sitting on top of the knee. And then we're going to pivot that right knee over to the left side of the mat, coming into a spinal twist. You can leave your hand down where it is for support, and your right hand, and take your left hand and guide your knee over to the left side. Shoulder blades should still be nice and snug in the mat. And we'll release that right leg, send it back down, and then send our arms up overhead again, giving our body a nice big stretch again. Kind of send our arms up toward the top of the mat and our feet down toward the bottom of the mat. Nice big stretch. Then bring our hands back down to the mat, palms down beside us. Our left foot will slide up along the inner part of our right leg till it reaches the knee, and our legs become a figure four. And then lifting our left ankle, placing it on top of our right leg, right above the kneecap, and then lifting everything up into reclined pigeon. Our left knee is aiming toward the left side of the mat. Toes are flexed up to the sky. And again, you can do that resistance, pushing with your left foot down toward the bottom of the mat while you're pulling with your right knee toward your chest. Or you can just bring your right knee toward your chest. Your choice. And then place your right foot on the mat and slide that right foot down to the bottom of the mat, keeping your left foot on top of your right leg. And then we're going to pivot our left knee over to the right and guide it with our right hand toward the right side for a spinal twist. And then release. We're going to bring both knees to our chest, tuck our hands underneath our knees, and roll up to a seated position. So you can do multiple rolls until you get to a seated position. And once you're in a seated position, you can lean over your knees, placing your hands on the mat, and come into tabletop. So with tabletop, our wrists are right below the shoulders, knees right below our hips. Fingers are spread out nice and wide, gently pushing down into our hands to create that space between our shoulders and our neck. Navel's tucked to our spine. We'll do a few cat-cows here. So rounding our back, dropping our head and tailbone down as we exhale. Nice big stretch. And then inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up, sending our gaze straight ahead. And then exhale for cat. Rounding our back. Inhale for cow. And deep breaths. Exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. And as you go into cow, just feel how your tummy fills with air and then up to your ribs and up to your chest. And then as you go into cat, as we do now on the exhale, feel it all flow away and empty out your tummy at the last. Just keep doing a few cat cows to your own pace, watching your breath move in and out. And then we'll come back to a flat back to tabletop. And keeping our hands and our knees where they are, we're going to do a few bird dogs, but we're going to touch our knee to our elbow. So I think this position, rather than bringing your knees together, works a little, there's a little bit more of a foundation there for you. So we're going to lift our right leg up and our left arm up, and then exhale, bringing the knee and elbow together. Inhale, extend both leg and arm. Exhale, bring the knee and elbow together. Inhale, extend the hand and leg. Exhale, knee and elbow touch. And continue on. Inhale, exhale, touch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, touch. Inhale, extend. And last one, exhale, touch. And bring yourself back to tabletop. We'll do that on the other side. So extend your left leg, right arm out. Exhale, elbow to knee, touch. Extend arm and leg out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, touch. And one last time. Inhale, extend. And exhale, knee to elbow. Come back to tabletop. We'll tuck our toes under, walk our hands back, coming up onto the balls of our feet, and then pushing down, coming up into mountain pose. So with mountain pose, it's the essentials of good posture. We're gonna lift our toes up off the mat and spread them as far apart as we can. Bring our toes back down, lift our heels up off the mat, and then come down and just feel grounded into our practice today. Our legs are nice and straight and strong, gentle, soft bend in our knees, navel's tucked to our spine. Spine, the back and neck is nice and long, tall, shoulders relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked toward our chest, and the crown of our head is reaching up to the sky. Take a nice deep inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. And then exhale, slowly bring your hands down to the mat, bending your knees as you go to support your lower back. And then just check in here for a moment. And listen to your body today and every day. And then inhale, lifting our hands to our shins, flattening out our back, Sending the gaze straight down, feel that nice long stretch in our spine. And then dropping the crown of our head down toward the mat, letting gravity just take over for a moment. And then sweeping our hands with a big inhale all the way up overhead. We'll come up onto our tippy toes. And with nice, slow, controlled movements, we're going to do a few sun breaths. So we'll start with our hands up, and our toes are on their tippy toes. And then slowly bring our hands down, bringing our heels back down to the mat. And then inhale, sweeping back up, nice fluid movement. Lifting slowly up onto our tippy toes. Hands come overhead. And then slowly exhaling, bringing our hands down. And bring our heels down to the mat. And then one last time, slowly lifting up. Tippy, tippy toes. And then slowly coming back down again. And we'll come all the way down, bringing our hands down to the mat. Bending our knees. Inhale, hands to shins, nice straight back. And then crown of the head reaches down toward the mat. And sweeping our hands, nice big inhale, sweeping them up all the way up overhead. Palms come together. And then we'll do a few side stretches. So bringing our right hand down to our right thigh, sliding it down toward our right knee. Hold that crescent shape while we continue to breathe. And then lift back up again. And lower our left hand down to the left thigh, slowly sliding it down to our left knee. And hold that crescent shape while we continue to breathe. Nice, deep, complete breaths. And then lifting it back up again. One more time down to the right. We won't hold it as long. Sliding it down. On the exhale. And then lifting back up on the inhale. And lowering the left hand down. Exhaling as we go to the left. And then inhaling all the way back up. Exhaling, bringing our hands all the way back down to the mat, bending our knees. Inhaling, hands to shins, back flattens out, gaze goes down, nice long stretch the spine. Exhale, dropping the head down toward the mat. And then sweeping our hands with a big inhale, lifting them up overhead again. And we'll bring our hands together, and then our hands to heart center. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring our knee to our chest. So I'm going to start with my right knee and just feel nice, solid. So maybe stretch out my toes and lift my heel and just feel anchored again on my left foot. As I lift up my right leg and then wrap my hands around my right knee and gently guide that knee up toward my chest. And then with my right hand, I'm going to bring that knee over to the right side. Balance myself by doing a goalpost hand with the left. And there we go. And we'll do that again on the other side. So again, it's practice Leading with my heart, not my ego. It's A-okay. Then sweep our hands up overhead again. Big inhale, hands come together. Hands come to heart center. I'm gonna anchor my right foot down. And then lift my left leg up. And then wrap my hands around my left knee and guide my left knee toward my chest. And then take the left hand, guide the left knee out to left side, balancing myself with my right arm. And well done, place that down. One big sweep of our breath, hands go up overhead, and exhale, hands come down to the mat, bending our knees. Inhale, lifting hands up to our shins, flat back, and then send the crown of our head down toward the mat. And then sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And palms come to the back of our hips. So we point our fingertips down. Feet come shoulder width apart. Chin is tucked toward our chest and shoulders are relaxed. We'll just roll back for supported back bend till you find that sweet spot where you can continue nice deep inhales and exhales. And then come back up. Well done. We'll continue on. And we'll take a nice deep breath. And inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. Hands come down to the mat. Forward fold. Fingertips land on the mat. And then we're going to send our feet back into downward dog. We'll pedal out here for a few moments. Our fingers are splayed nice and wide. Index fingers pointing up toward the top of the mat. Arms are nice and straight and strong. Your chest is reaching toward your thighs, lifting your hips up toward the sky. And knees are bent, or you'd like to be walking your dog. Let's take a few deep inhales here and exhales. And then we're going to bring our knee to our elbow, pushing off with our right toes. Inhale, knee to elbow, hold, and then bring it back to downward dog. Pedal out. Speaking of the downward dog. Here. Was here. Inhale and lift our knee to our elbow again, pushing off with our right toes. And then back to downward dog. And the next one, we're going to bring our left foot between our hands. So inhale, lifting your left foot up, bringing them between your hands, coming into runner's lunge. So your knees right over your ankle. The back heel of your right foot's pushing to the back of the mat. We're going to plant our right hand down on the mat and sweep the left hand all the way up to the sky, following your hand with your gaze if possible. Keeping that tension in your right leg by having your heel push back. And then bring that left hand down. And as you bring it down, bring it alongside your right hand. So both hands are on the right side of your left foot. We'll come into lizard pose. So you have the option of staying here in runner's lunge or bringing your back knee down. And if you like, you can also bring your elbows down, either position, either having your knee up or knee down. So bring your elbows to the mat for an extra stretch. And then come back up onto your hands. Lift your knee, back knee, if it isn't lifted already. And we're gonna rock our hands over to the right, to the center of the mat. And then we're gonna bring our elbows as we reach the center. We'll have our fingertips facing out and try to bend our elbows down toward the mat. And then walk our hands over to the right, to our right foot. Knee and chin greet one another. And then walk our hands back to our left foot. And knee and chin say hello. Then we'll pivot on our right foot, so we're back into runner's lunge. And then bring our left foot back into plank pose. So with plank pose, we're gonna have our wrists below our shoulders, heels are pushing to the back of the mat, navel's tucked up to the spine, no saggy bellies. And then slowly lower to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And then gently lift our chin and our chest up, pushing gently down into our hands, come into cobra. And then keep pushing up to tabletop and then down to child's pose. Arms can be extended or alongside you, whatever is more comfortable. And then come up into tabletop, tuck our toes under, lift our hips up to downward dog, and walk our dog out for a bit. Take a few deep breaths. And then we're going to take our left knee and bring it to the mat right behind our left wrist and angling our left foot at a diagonal. I'm going to come into pigeon pose. So whatever angle works for you today, keeping your hips parallel to the mat, we're going to slide our right foot down and then come on to the top of our right foot. And we'll walk our hands back just a little bit to get that proud peacock pose. And then walk our hands down for recline pigeon. So you come down on your elbows here. And then we'll come back up, tuck our back toe under, and then come back to downward dog. Pedal out for a moment. And today we're going to walk our hands to our feet. So the other way around. So start slowly walking your hands, coming toward your feet, and then coming into a forward fold. And sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll do that all on the other side. So sweeping our hands up overhead. And exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees. And we're going to bring our feet back into downward dog and pedal out here for a moment. And then with our right knee, we're going to bring our right knee to our right elbow, pushing off with our left foot. Hold, and then come back, pedal out. And then again, right knee to right elbow, pushing off, hold, and then come back and pedal out. And then the last time, we're going to bring our right foot up between our hands into runner's lunge. So inhale, lifting our right foot up, bringing it to position where our hands are framing the foot. We're in runner's lunge with the knee over our ankle. Back leg is nice and strong with the heel pushing out. We'll plant our left hand on the mat, sweep our right hand up to the sky, and then back down again. And as you bring it down, you bring it to the inside of your right foot, so both hands are side by side on the inside of your foot, coming into lizard pose. Again, you can keep your knee up or bring it down to the mat. Top of your foot comes down on the mat. And you can keep your hands on the mat, or you can bring your elbows to the mat, whichever you prefer. And then bring our hands back down to the mat. We'll walk our hands to the left, coming to the center of the mat. Toes are pointing to the corners of the mat, by the way. And our fingertips are pointing out from the long side of the mat. And then gently dropping our elbows down toward the mat. And we'll walk our hands over to our left foot. Chin to knee says hello. And then walk our hands over to our right foot. Chin to knee says hello again. And then we'll pivot with our left foot, turning and coming into runner's lunge. And then we'll bring our right foot back into plank pose. Coming into plank pose, then we'll lower gently to the mat, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And then slowly lifting our chin and our chest up, pushing gently down into our hands, coming into cobra. And then keep pushing up until tabletop, into tabletop, and then down to child's pose. then coming back to tabletop. Tuck our toes underneath, lift our hips to downward dog. Pedal out here for a moment. And then bring our right knee to the mat right behind our right wrist, angling our foot on a diagonal, and then keeping the hips parallel to the mat, sliding your left foot down to the bottom of the mat, and then bringing the top of the left foot down onto the mat into pigeon pose. So we'll walk our hands back and do a proud pigeon, opening up our chest, opening up our heart. And then walking our hands down onto the elbows, if that's comfortable for you today. And come into reclined pigeon. And then come back up. Tuck your back toe under, lifting your leg up. Both legs come into downward dog. Pedal out here for a moment. And then walking our hands first to our feet, coming into a forward fold. And then sweeping our hands up overhead with a big inhale. Hands come together. Hands come to heart center. And bringing our pinky toes to the edges of the mat. Sending our heels in. We'll do a wide-legged stance. So our hands are heart center. Start to lower our hips down toward our ankles. Knees are open. Our torso goes between our knees. Elbows landing on the inner part of our knees. And sliding our hands down toward the mat. And then we'll bring our hips, our sit bones down onto the mat and roll back onto our backs using the express method. So we'll tuck our hands underneath our knees and just roll back. Knees come to the chest. We'll give them a nice hug and rock. Give our lower back a nice massage. And put both feet on the mat and have them a little further than hip width apart, getting closer to the edges of the mat, but not to the edge. We'll do a few somatic windshield wipers. So bring our arms out at shoulder height. We're going to drop our knees to the right and slowly turn our head to the left, and our fingers on our left hand will be palms up, and our fingers on our right hand will be palm down. So our hands are going to become flippers in this as we flip our legs back and forth. So inhaling, lifting our legs back to center, our head comes back to center, and then dropping our knees to the left. We're going to slowly turn our head to the right, flip our right hand so it's palm up, left hand is palm down. And slowly lifting our legs back to center, head comes back to center, dropping our legs to the right, sending our gaze to the right, flipping our palm up on our left hand, sending our gaze to the left, flipping our left palm up, right palm comes down. It's the opposite. And then inhale, lift our legs up again to center, head comes back to center. Slowly lowering our legs to the left, Sending our gaze to the right, flipping our right palm up, left palm down. And just continue doing that, a nice even flow, nice gentle rhythm. Focusing on your complete breath. We'll do it a couple more times. And then we'll meet in the middle. And meeting in the middle, we'll prepare for Shavasana. So you send your feet down to the ends of the mat and just relax your body. Let your feet flop open. Just feel nice and supported by your mat today. Palms facing up, shoulders are nice and snug in the mat. And for today's reading, I'm going to read in 3 separate installments this week and then the following 2 weeks, the Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving Address, since it's November and Thanksgiving is coming. So I'm going to break it up in 3 parts. So this morning, I'm going to start with the people. Today, we have gathered and we see that the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now we bring our minds together as one, as we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. Now our minds are one. We are all thankful to our mother, the earth, for she gives us all that we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she has from the beginning of time. To our mother, we send greetings and thanks. Now our minds are one. We now send greetings and thanks to our eldest brother, the sun. Each day, without fail, he travels the sky from east to west, bringing the light of a new day. He is the source of all the fires of life. And with one mind, we send greetings and thanks to our brother, the sun. Now our minds are one. We put our minds together and give thanks to our oldest grandmother, the moon, who lights the nighttime sky. She is the leader of women all over the world, and she governs the movement of the ocean tides. By her changing face, we measure time, and it is the moon who watches over the arrival of children here on earth. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to our grandmother, the moon. Now our minds are one. We give thanks to the stars who are spread across the sky like jewelry. We see them in the night, helping the moon to light the darkness and bringing dew to the gardens and growing things. When we travel at night, they guide us home. With our minds gathered together as one, we send greetings and thanks to the stars. Now our minds are one. We are all thankful for to the powers we know as the four winds. We hear their voices in the moving air as they refresh us and purify the air we breathe. They help us to bring the change of seasons. From the four directions they come, bringing us messages and giving us strength. With one mind, we send our greetings and thanks to the four winds. Now our minds are one.